Hello there, Winter Trainer here, aka Carlos, here to record another Week 2 match, which this week it is the Syracuse Oranguru versus the Jacksonville Jirachis, now coached by Ryan and Hands, or Mr. Bloopy and Posted. Jace, unfortunately, dropped out of the server, so rip Jace. So this will be the third and fourth coaches for the team. But along with me this week for the match, covering it, usually Noah's here and would be the one introducing all this stuff. But this week he is out of the town and actually did his week 3 match early, so we might get to recording that. We can probably do that also. But
Yeah.
with me is our special guest, Austin.
Austin coached the Louisville Crowbats.
Yep. And we can just get right into this battle. So, turn one starts off with Latias versus Greninja. So, it was definitely not the best lead. Uh, Latias,
I think it
what was that?
was a really obvious lead. I mean,
Oh,
um,
you yeah, the Greninja.
I don't think Latias was his best lead by no means.
Uh, yeah, well, he leads off with the Latias versus Greninja, and the Greninja scares him out, but we'll soon learn that the set might isn't optimal versus Latias. So through these first few turns is just sort of going. You'll notice prep wise, Brandon didn't bring many switch-ins throughout this match. That tends to be one of his problems. He has a lot of offense, very hyper offensive team. So we can just keep going along with this match. The Umbreon is pretty nice. It's able to wish past for his team. And here on turn 6, we see the Cobalion is actually special with Calm Mind. Definitely a unique set. And like we see here on turn 7, not many switch-ins. Like he had to switch into Latias, that's his switch-in for Arcanine. And as his offensive, one of his main offensive threats, you don't want to see that being your main switch-in for Arcanine. Turn 10, his Honchkrow goes for Thunder Wave. Definitely, I'd say that's pretty good overall. Though it's a bit risky switching in Gyarados on Arcanine here on turn 12. It looks as if he doesn't have the Wild Charge, which, I mean, if you're just assuming he doesn't have that, I don't think that's a great strategy. I'd like to see him either double switch back into Latias there, because he ends up Ice Fanging, which I guess he's predicting the Thunderous, which was good, but he's risking the Wild Charge. And switching wise, once again, we see before the C move goes off that switching into Arcanine, it does 55% to this Landorus. That's definitely not the type of damage you want to be seeing.
Yeah,
As yeah, go ahead.
he didn't bring very good switch-ins for Arc. He didn't really bring good switch-ins for anything, honestly.
Yeah, really, really interesting that he did that. I know for one, the Honchkrow he brought, he picked it up this week in part because of that Gothitelle, allowing him to pursuit on it and do a nice amount of damage. But the Gothitelle didn't come, fortunately, because that thing's a monster. And Honchkrow ended up just becoming a mon that he used a Thunder Wave and sort of support. But here on 16, we see a very unfortunate Focus Blast miss. At the same time, it he's needing to live that Sacred Sword, which could potentially kill him. So
Yeah.
it's definitely risky. And then this Cortana is now at +1, but this Latias comes in and reveals the Draco. I'm surprised he didn't have hidden power on it. But I wonder how much that Draco would actually do to it. I know he likes running specs a lot.
I think it was Specs Latios. I'm not sure how much it did to Cortana early.
If it does 129 to 158. So I guess I understand why he didn't bring Hidden Power Fire.
Yeah, he didn't really need it then.
But we see here as the match is going on that we get to turn 19. Or did I skip over something? No. When did Gudra die? That was a bit ago. I just
It
missed
died.
it.
It died the Tectonic Rage from Landers.
Oh yeah, I skipped over that. Here, let's go back to that. So the Tectonic Rage just comes out and just Okos that Gudra. Definitely a good bring on his part. Risking the switch into the Thunderous, but other than that, it does. That was probably the ideal thing to hit with it.
I'm surprised. Oh yeah, definitely.
Surprised that it actually killed.
That
Uh,
he went for it right away. I figured he would be more scared of Thunderous trying to switch in on it because the Earthquake was obvious on the Arcanine.
yeah, I
It was
agree. Definitely, definitely interesting that he went for it right away. There, yeah. I mean, it ended up working, but I'd expect just the Earth power straight up first, not risking it, like you were saying.
yeah.
And then we see this Greninja with the U-turn once again. Skip over this part. Here we go. Latias kills that Umbreon. Definitely a nice thing to get out of the way. And then in comes the Thundurus. So this Thundurus is definitely a huge threat for his team. Like we were saying that he doesn't have many switch-ins. He has almost literally zero switch-ins to this Thundurus except for Latias, which he has to sack something off before he goes into.
Yeah. Basically
But
using Latios to revenge it,
yeah,
pretty much.
which was nice. But you'd like to see him having at least a switch into it instead of having to sack something off.
Especially when he has Tangrowth on the team, which like an Assault Vest Tangrowth is a
Yeah, definitely. I think you were saying before the match that bringing that regenerator core would have been so nice.
well
And
that plus Blissey could just wall his team
oh
for the
yeah,
most part.
definitely. Um, Once again we see the walk on Barry. He's been bringing that a lot. Uh, it would work out at full health, but at this point it's just a sack.
Yeah.
Uh, as we keep going, once again he brings in that Thunderous and just gets a free kill on turn 25. And
I
then yeah,
really don't understand why Brandon didn't switch Landorus in because Landorus did not beat Greninja. It lost to Cartana. The only thing Landorus could have done was win a speed tie with Thunderous, which is still a speed tie. Where Entei still had extreme speed.
yeah, I agree. That was definitely I didn't notice that at first, but yeah, Landorus doesn't beat any of the other stuff. Well, the he's just sacking what the two. He ends up sacking 2 months to it. Either time he could have switched in Landorus. But as we keep going, we see he ends up losing the speed tie. But at least he should have tried that beforehand, so he didn't have to sack the two other Mons. And on this final turn, we see the no Dark Pulse. Now, that is definitely interesting bringing there, not bringing Dark Pulse. I would assume. Did we end up seeing his full set? Do you know? Oh, sorry. Uh, cause he shows the Ice Beam, the U-turn. I would assume he had Hydro, something like that. But it would have been really nice if he had the Dark Pulse on there, cause I know he might be worried about that Balion with Justified, but situations like this, 1v1, I like maybe when he's prepping, he's thinking it can do a KO. It does 66%. That he'd be fine, but I don't think you can ever assume that you'll just be fine for a big threat by Latias. When you have the chance to OHKO it rather than 2-hit KO it, I'd always go for that. But it ends up in close 1-0, and yeah, I think that is all for this match. Other than that, we'll see you guys next week.